Today, I'm going to break down every subgenre within the romance anime genre and pick the best of the best. Some of the anime here might belong to two categories, so I decided not to repeat anime and give that position to another one. So here are the best romance anime of each category. Let's go. Set during Japan's Meiji era in the 1870s, this one follows Kenshin Himura, a former assassin known as Batosai the Manslaughterer, who has sworn never to kill again. He wanders as a kind, goofball swordsman until he stumbles into Kaoru Kamiya, a young woman whose kendo dojo is being threatened. Kenshin ends up staying and helps solve her problems while the two slowly fall in love. Nope, I'm not talking about the remake this time. I'm talking about the OG show because it's almost complete. The action is genuinely great for a 1996 anime. The characters are lovable, and the romance between Kenshin and Kaoru is that slow, unspoken kind that just makes your chest tight. Some people will complain about the filler and the later arcs dropping in quality, but the reason you stay is the chemistry between Kenshin and Kaoru. If you've never watched Samurai X as a kid on Toonami, you missed out. Go watch it now.
良い月じゃな。主よ、酒などないかや？
This 2008 classic follows Kraft Lawrence, a traveling merchant who one day discovers a wolf harvest goddess named Hollow hiding in a cart of wheat. She's been living as the deity of a small farming town for centuries, but the locals have stopped believing in her. Lawrence agrees to take her north to her homeland, and the two of them travel together through medieval towns, making trades and pulling off economic schemes. Yeah, economics. You heard that right.
主、商人としてはまあまあじゃな。
Here's the thing about Spice and Wolf. It sounds like the most boring premise ever on paper, and then you start watching and you can't stop. Hollow is one of the best female characters in all of anime. She's witty, confident, wise, and a little mischievous and genuinely fun to watch. As you know, I'm a huge fan of the original show, which is why I included it here, and I really, really love the old show's character designs.
にゃーで合ってますか？ ほら、かわいい。
ああ、猫耳が藤原初期の頃に篠宮は俺だな。
ですよね。
Two of the top students at a prestigious high school, Miyuki Shirogane and Kaguya Shinomiya, have developed feelings for each other, but both are too proud and too brilliant to confess first, because to them, whoever confesses loses. So instead of just talking like normal people, these two genius idiots spend every episode crafting some complex psychological schemes to try to make the other one crack. And then there's Chika Fujiwara, their cheerful, oblivious secretary, who accidentally destroys all their plans.
さすがだな。ははは。
気づかれなかった。
Do you love mind games in your romance anime? Do you love overconfident protagonists who are actually disasters at emotions? Do you love a narrator who treats a high school love confession like a declaration of war? Then Kaguya-sama is the show for you. The humor is not only original, but the jokes are well-timed too. But man, the characters? That's where this show shines. Tell me one character from this anime you forgot about. None. That's how brilliant the cast is.
僕にとって安らぎの
Now, before you cry about it, yes, high school is a category. Come on, the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about romance is high school. Koyotaro Ichikawa is a socially awkward middle schooler with dark thoughts and a tendency to fantasize about being the villain in his own story. Then there's Anna Yamada, tall, cheerful, model, beautiful, and the girl who always ends up sharing the school library with him. He first thinks of murdering her, but then realizes she's an airy goofball.
二人で撮ってみよう。はい。
Okay, so I'll be real, the first episode might throw you off because of how dark Ichikawa's inner monologue sounds, but stick with it, because what this show actually is one of the most genuine and wholesome high school romances ever animated. Season 1 is great, but Season 2 is where the thing becomes something special. The pacing of the romance, the character development, the direction, it all comes together perfectly. Princess Yona has lived a sheltered, peaceful life in her kingdom, pampered and in love with her cousin Su Wan. Then, on her 16th birthday, everything falls apart. She is betrayed and forced to flee into the wilderness with only her loyal bodyguard Hawk by her side. Now, Yona must learn to survive. To reclaim her kingdom and protect her people, she sets out to find 4 legendary warriors who carry the blood of dragons. This is one of the first shoujo anime I watched, and I fell in love with it, and kept a very high bar for shoujo anime. The action in Yona of the Dawn is actually really good. Hawk is the kind of bodyguard that you genuinely root for. Strong, loyal, and the best kind of love interest. The one frustrating thing, the anime only covers part of the manga, and there's still no season 2 even though the manga already ended. So let's hope for a season 2 this year.
会調査部の幽霊部長。僕はいつの間にかそんな彼女に取りつかれていた。そしてそれが文字通りの意味であることにはまだ気づかないでいた。
At the creepy old wing of Saikyo Academy, there's a ghost. Her name is Yuko Kanoe. She died 60 years ago, and her body's still buried under the clubroom she now haunts. She can only be seen by a timid first year named Teichi Niya, and together they form a paranormal investigation club to solve the mysteries and urban legends of the school, including the mystery of how Yuko died and why she lost all her memories.
私は定一君に触れるの好きよ。こうして私に触れてくれるのは
Yes, romance and horror can be mixed, and this is more romance with horror elements than it is straight up horror. So if you're coming in expecting jump scares every episode, that's not quite it. What this anime actually does well is blend its mystery and romance in a way that builds to something pretty emotionally heavy by the end. The final few episodes are where the show earns everything it was setting up, and Yuko is the best girl.
こんなに可愛くて優しい2人がそばにいるのに俺には手が出せないなんて。
Now I know some people are gonna come at me with their pitchforks for this one, but I love it, and it's one of my favorite isekai anime. A guy is forced by his little sister to grind through an entire otame game so she can unlock all the CG scenes without doing the work herself. After finally finishing it, he collapses from exhaustion, falls down some stairs, and dies. And then he wakes up reborn into that very game, not as the hero or the villain, but as a random background mob character. And more than anything, the heroine and villainess have switched places.
すべすべだな、オリビア。アンジェリカさんこそ髪も肌もツルツルじゃないですか。
Yep, that is the full premise. A guy who hated playing an otame game gets isekai'd into it. Like, come on, it's way more fun than it has any right to be. Leon is a great guy, sarcastic, resourceful, and pretty entertaining to watch when he brings down the otame guys. The romance takes a while to develop, and the animation budget isn't amazing, but everything from the setup to the chemistry is really well done. Season 2 is coming soon, so keep your eye out.
工場の裏にあるスカブスレート定着用の火炎放射器貸してくれないかな。どうしたの？
Alright, bring it in, Evangelion fans. We're going for something less depressing than Evangelion. Renton Thurston is a 14-year-old kid who's bored out of his mind, living in a backwater village, dreaming of joining the cool, rebellious group of mecha pilots called Gecko State. Then, one day, a giant mech called the Nervash comes crashing into his grandfather's garage, piloted by a strange girl called Eureka. Renton ends up joining Gecko State and starts to get a girlfriend too. That's 2 birds in 1 mech.
捕まってて。どうしたの？
Look, I know people expect me to say darling in the Franks for this category, but give Eureka 7 a shot. The pacing of the first few episodes can be tough, but if you push through, the payoff is one of the most complete and emotionally satisfying romance arcs in any mecha anime. Renton and Eureka aren't just shipped together because the show says so. You actually watch them grow up, figure out their feelings, fight, make up, and come out the other side as one of the best anime couples of all time.
やっと来たか。
何してるの？
君の到着が思ったより遅かったのでな。
Oh yeah, we are into one of my favorites. I had a hard time choosing between this and Garden of Sinners, but I still love this way more. In 1924, in a small fictional European country called Salville, a Japanese exchange student named Kazuyo Kujo transfers into an elite academy that is absolutely drowning in ghost stories and urban legends. Up in the library tower, he discovers Victorique de Blois, a small, brilliant, gothic Lolita girl who never attends class and spends her days reading every book in the library. And more than anything, her brother, who's a detective, asks her help when solving mysteries.
何をしている？
Gosick is one of the most underrated romance anime ever made. Victorique is the best girl because she is the standout character of the show. She's eccentric, intelligent, and one of the best tsunderes. Yeah, Kujo can be your average guy, but everything from the music to the mysteries to the middle arc about Victorique's backstory all adds up really beautifully. So this one wins the award for best romance mystery and best anime opening of all time.
先輩たちが男と思っているなら別にそれでもいいかなと。どうも自分は男とか女の意識が人よりも低いらしくて。
Reverse harems are not usually my thing, so when I'm recommending one, it means it's so good it even managed to turn a non-believer into a believer. Haruhi Fujioka is a scholarship student at the ridiculously wealthy Orin Academy who accidentally breaks a priceless vase belonging to the host club, a group of 6 handsome guys who entertain female students for fun. To pay off her debt, she's forced to join the club herself and pose as a boy.
どうぞよろしく。
かわいいぞハルヒそのはにかんだ感じがグーベリーグー。
And yeah, this is the reverse harem I'll recommend it, guys. Why? Because it's actually funny and it's clearly in on the joke. The show knows exactly what it is, and it goes full throttle with the parody while also giving you a group of guys who are also weirdos. This has some Kaguya-sama level of diverse cast, and once again, I know this anime isn't complete, but it is really, really good.
なんなのあんた鬼強じゃん。
でも綾瀬さん1枚取ったが。
たったの1枚だけだよ。
でも楽しかった。
There's one and only good sports anime for me, and that's Chihaya Furu. Chihaya Ayase fell in love with competitive Karuta as a kid after a transfer student named Arata Wataya showed her that the obscure Japanese card game could be played with the same excitement you play GTA 5. So they formed a trio with childhood friend Taichi Mashima, then life separated them. Years later in high school, Chihaya set out to build a Karuta club and find her way back to the game and to both of them.
太一。
なんだよ。
Look, if someone told you a sports anime about Japanese card poetry would make you cry and lose sleep, you'd laugh. And then you watch Chihaya Furu and realize this is the money heist of romance sports anime. This is one of the most beautifully written sports anime ever made with a love triangle that doesn't feel cheap. You genuinely don't know who Chihaya should end up with, and you feel it. But ignore the love triangle, just focus on the sport. When the romance isn't pushing the story forward, the card game picks up the story. In early 1900s London, a young Japanese woman named Lily Ichojin arrives at a prestigious fine arts academy with 6 months to become the top student or be dragged back home to a life she doesn't want. She's confident in her textbook perfect paintings until she meets Kit Church, a socially awkward British genius whose work makes hers look empty by comparison. So the two decide to go full Naruto and Sasuke, but this is romance, so it's more about enemies falling in love.
空間
いりません。それ木炭消したやつ。
This is a newer one, and honestly, it's a standout. It's by Wit Studio, and it's on Netflix. Dropped all at once in January 2026, and the entire romance anime fandom by storm. So why is it good? 1, the background art is stunning. This thing looks like a moving oil painting. 2, the romance is one of those slow burn rivals to lovers stories that's done with actual maturity instead of the usual drama for drama's sake approach. 3, it's set in early 1900s London, which means you no longer have to worry about high school kids confessing under the cherry blossom tree.
二人とも俺と付き合ってください。
何言ってんのよ。二人ともってどうかしてんじゃないの。
Once again, I know some people were expecting me to add quintessential quintuplets or Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches, but you know why I love this? It takes the harem concept to the absolute end and gives you a banger. Rentaro Aijo has been rejected by 100 girls in middle school, so before high school starts, he goes to a shrine and prays for a girlfriend. The god of love hears him and responds by telling him he's going to meet exactly 100 soulmates in high school, and that if he doesn't love all of them, every single one will die.
やっぱり盲目になっていた。
Like I said, this is the Spinal Tap of harem anime. It is so intentionally over the top and self-aware that it flips into being genuinely great. It's a parody at first, but there's actual heart here. Each girlfriend gets her own spotlight, her own personality, and her own moment that makes you go, okay, actually, I love her too. Rentaro himself is an unreasonably wholesome guy, and the fourth wall breaks, and all the anime references are pretty fun.
ここで演奏するの。私、バイオリニストなの。
Oh yeah, play some sad music. Here it comes. Piano prodigy Kosei Arima was once called a human metronome, technically flawless, emotionally empty. Then his mother died, and he stopped being able to hear the sound of his own playing. 2 years of silence later, he meets Kaori Miyazono, a violinist who plays freely, expressively, and completely against the rulebook. She drags him back into the world of music, and the two become a musical duo.
そうやって最も美しい嘘が生まれる。
Ah man, I wish this anime ended with that last sentence, but nope. This one goes on the full sad route and breaks your kneecaps with a violin, strangles you with a violin string, and drags your face across a keyboard with spikes. Okay, that might be a bit of an exaggeration, but it's just the truth. Your Lie in April is one of those anime that people say changed them, and it's not just people being dramatic. The music performances in this show are genuinely moving. The animation's gorgeous, and the emotional core of the story is handled with a care that you don't always see. I watched it, and I didn't speak to anyone for a week. That's how sad the ending is.
いい年してセーラームーンで泣いてんじゃねえよ。
R は青春なんだよ。ヒロタクだってドラゴンボール全話配信してたら見るでしょ。
Narumi Momose is a fujoshi. She loves reading boys' love manga, and she's kept this secret from every coworker she's ever had. That's until she changes jobs and discovers that her new company employs her childhood friend Hirotaka Nifuji, a handsome, emotionless gaming otaku who immediately loudly offers to date her. They're both adults, they both have jobs, they both love anime and games. So they say, alright, screw it, why not, and become a couple.
どっちが手遅れか教えてやろうか。まあまあなる。許し合いでしょ。許し合い。
Otokoi is the romance anime that finally goes, what if the two main characters just started dating in episode 1? The big refreshing thing here is that this is a show about adults with adult jobs having adult conversations about their adult relationship. See how many times I mentioned adults? See why I did that? Because so far, we still haven't found an adult romance anime to match with Otokoi. No high school drama, no unnecessary misunderstandings, stretching 10 episodes, two adults dealing with problems like functioning people. So this gets a 10 out of 10. It's the best workplace romance anime of all time.